Hey everyone, welcome back. So I wasn't expecting to do this actually on my lunch break today, so I cut my lunch a little short, ate as fast as I could, and obviously wanted to discuss this with you guys with the news that came out today that Riot put in a bid at $2.30 to buy out Bitfarms. I think it was a slap in the face actually to the shareholders of Bitfarms because as we all believe, and at least I think we all believe, that Bitfarms has a much potential going forward, higher potential, right, in stock price, especially as they get closer to 21 exahash. So let's get into it here. We'll take a look at what's going on with the stock price right now of Riot and Bitfarms and Bitcoin really quick as well. But as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And I'm invested in the following companies for full disclosure. Obviously, I'm invested in Bitfarms here, so I'm going to give you guys my take on it here. But if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Obviously, helps out the channel here. But let's take a look at the charts here really quick, and then we'll get into the news obviously here. So Bitfarms right now is up 7.43%. It's at $2.17, right? Riot came in with a bid at $2.30, which I think is just a low ball offer. And they're kind of, the way I see it is they're pouncing on a company that's been kind of beaten down because of some FUD that's obviously been at the company, the CEO, Paraguay, taxes in Canada and all that stuff. So they're going after somebody that has been basically beaten down already, and they're kind of kicking them in the side as well. That's at least my thoughts on it here really quick. But Riot here on the day is up 2.27% to 1061. Bitcoin is actually down today right now, intraday here, halfway through. We're down 2.26% on it. And all the stocks, there's a lot of stocks that are doing pretty well here, but we don't care about that. We really care what's going on here with Bitfarms and Riot here. So let's get into that news really quick, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on it here. So this obviously came out today that Riot proposed to acquire Bitfarms for $2.03 per share to create the world's largest publicly listed Bitcoin mining company. That is the case, yes. If they were able to acquire them, they would possibly be the largest combined. They would be like at 52 exahash or something like that. But here's what we have here. So the combination would enhance Bitfarms' financial profile, enabling investments in future growth and providing a compelling opportunity to participate in significant upside of the combined company. Maybe. Riot has acquired 9.25% stake to become Bitfarms' largest shareholder, intends to requisition a special meeting of Bitfarms shareholders to add new independent directors to Bitfarms' board. Okay. So they obviously, excuse me, they obviously want to change out the board a little bit there or add more board members to the company to be in favor, obviously, for them to potentially buy them out, right? I think at $2.30, that is just a way low ball offer, I think. And I think you guys agree with that as well here. So here it is. The proposal was originally delivered privately to the Bitfarms board on April 22nd, 2024. However, the Bitfarms board rejected it without engaging in substantive dialogue with Riot. I wonder why, right? I'm sure the Bitfarms board is not stupid. They understand that the stock is undervalued right now compared to its peers. Just looking at basic metrics, comparing it to other miners, they're way undervalued from where they really should be. Moreover, new allegations in a lawsuit brought by Bitfarms' recently terminated CEO, if accurate, raised serious questions about whether certain directors are committed to acting in the best interests of all shareholders. As a result, Riot believes it's necessary to disclose its proposal directly to Bitfarms shareholders. Okay, it's fine. That's fine that they did that. But I don't think the board of members is acting against shareholders. I think they're acting for shareholders because why would you sell a company at $2.30 when you know you don't know, you're basically looking into the future where Bitcoin could possibly be in price, right? Where your hash rate is growing with the company so far. They have a roadmap to get to 21 exahash. They're at 7 exahash right now. Why would you sell a company at this low ball offer, right? Or this low cost, right? Price. If you believe Bitcoin's going to go up in value, you basically believe that your own share price will do much better, especially as you grow to 21 exahash. The company is growing to be like a top tier miner, like the top 5-7 miner here overall. So why would you sell at this low of a price? Makes no sense to them. Obviously, that's why they didn't go into a dialogue with them as far as where could the potential price be maybe set a little higher, right? It doesn't make any sense there, I don't believe. Going down here, following Bitfarms' annual general and special meeting scheduled for May 31st, 2024, Riot intends to requisition a special meeting of Bitfarms shareholders to add new well-qualified and independent directors to the Bitfarms board. Well-qualified and independent. Independent to what? Independent to obviously Riot's, right? To Riot's view of how the company should be run, maybe, things like that. Company should be sold to Riot as well. So if that happens, I will be voting against it. I'm not for that. But here's some obviously highlights of what they mentioned here. What they want to do would create the premier and largest Bitcoin mining globally. Yes. Provide a geographic diversification of sites well positioned for expansion and long-term growth. Yeah, that's basically because of Bitfarms, right? Bitfarms has sites in 4 countries: United States, Canada, Argentina, Paraguay. What does Riot have? 2 sites in the United States, right? So they're obviously offering quite a bit there of knowledge and in other jurisdictions as well. Utilize Riot's strong financial profile to drive future growth. Yes, this would be a benefit, obviously, right? But if Bitcoin's price can go up much higher from where it is right now, which we all believe it will, they will have obviously the cash and everything else to drive growth forward as well. Going down here, I think there was it, and then here's the letter that they wrote to the directors, right? How they view this thing, and obviously they're talking about the concerns with the board there at Bitfarms. So just kind of wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it, and here they are. Let me see here. There we go. So I'm not for this at all. I will not accept anything possibly unless it's like $7 or higher for the share price for Bitfarms. I think it is way undervalued from where it is right now. I think it should be at least 2 to 3x higher for just currently right now. So for me, this is a definitely no-go as a shareholder. I would not be voting for any kind of mergers or acquisitions by Riot at any price probably below $7 for them. Are there internal issues with maybe the board? Potentially, we don't have all the details, right? But I think the board is acting in the interest of the shareholders right now, not selling the company at $2.30, which I believe they believe that the company is going to be valued much more in the next basically 6 to 12 months, right? I think that's the way to go. So it doesn't make any sense there. Also, the timing of the CEO thing kind of makes me think a little bit here. Was the CEO maybe, what was his name, Jeffrey? Was he maybe pushing for the sale of the company? Was he maybe the reason why they let him go? I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas because it all seems pretty close to that timeline there. And did he approach the board with it, trying to sell the company, and they weren't against it? He was for it. Maybe that's why he was let go. I don't know. On that side of things. Also, why is Riot going to be overpaying for something that they can obviously build out at Corsicana? They have 1 gigawatt there. They have 700 megawatts at Rockdale. Why would you overpay for something that you can actually build out yourself in Corsicana to a much, much higher growth rate, right? They already have contracts in place to potentially, or options in place to buy like 100 megawatt or 100 exahash of machines. Why would you do that, and then do this as well? Obviously, if they're trying to get exposure to other countries, well, this would be a good way to do it, right? Bitfarms has that in place right now. They also have Ben Gagnon, right? One of the foremost probably experts in Bitcoin mining as it is. So they would be getting him. So I think there's a lot of benefits to Riot getting Bitfarms, but there's really no benefits to Bitfarms shareholders for Riot to acquire them. Other than maybe having a bigger, strong balance sheet, and that's about it, right? Operational wise, Bitfarms kind of kicks Riot's butt right now as operations are concerned with uptime, efficiencies, and everything else compared to where Riot is right now. So that's not a good deal there either. What else is there? Also, is maybe Riot having issues with building out Corsicana? Don't know, right? We need to see the May update as far as what their hash rate growth has been there. And are they looking at this as a potential way to kind of offset maybe some missteps there? I don't know. So there's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration here. So, but overall, my thought on this is when I read this and dove a little bit deeper into this, this doesn't make any sense for shareholders of Bitfarms. Doesn't make any sense for me to do it, for them to do it. And it looks like the board obviously believes the same thing, where they don't see the value of being acquired by Riot at $2.30. Like I said, at $7, maybe that makes a little bit more sense, right? So you're kind of halfway to where I think the stock price could possibly go this time around $15, maybe at the peak of the bull run, potentially, if they can build out, obviously. So there's a lot of ifs and assumptions here that could go to play here. Okay, but that's it. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Let's get into your guys' Q&A, see if you guys have any questions on this or any comments on this as well. Let's do that really quick right now while I still have a couple more minutes before I have to get back to work. So we'll jump in over there if you guys have any questions or anything like that. And we'll go through that. Let's see. Question here. So why are so many intimidated by Riot? I'm not intimidated by Riot. I'm appalled by the offer that they gave to Bitfarms shareholders. That's not being intimidated by them. Yeah, I thought this was kind of funny too. Surprised at Bitfarms' swift rejection. Like, what WTF did you expect? Yeah. You know, at $2.30, it's no brainer that they would obviously not go for it. Let's see. Bitfarms has underperformed all year. They need to sell out. They won't make it. No, they will make it. The reason they've underperformed stock price wise is because of all the FUD around the CEO, the Paraguay thing, mining ban there, Canadian taxes, things like that. That all contributed obviously to the stock being depressed from where it probably should be. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, another question here. What if Riot increased the offer to previous all-time high at $3.50? Do you see the board accepting this? No, because you have to take into consideration if Bitfarms didn't have any path forward as far as growth, then it might make sense, right? But they have 3x growth here in the next basically 6 months or so that they're supposed to get to. If they can get to that, even 350 doesn't really make any sense at that point. Excuse me. Let's see. Do you see this hostile takeover being successful? That depends on shareholders. How do they vote, right? You guys know how I'm going to vote on this, obviously. But what about the other shareholders? Are they just looking to get out potentially? I mean, it's only a 15%, 30% premium on what their stock price is right now, right? And if you look at future growth, future potential, it's way, way, way too low, in my opinion. So it will greatly depend on shareholders and how they vote. Now, if they do a hostile takeover where, Riot buys 51% of the company's shares, well, then we're all kind of SOL at that point anyways, because we won't have any say in it. So we'll see if they try to go that route where they have a 51% interest in the company, but that's obviously going to drive the stock price up much higher. They're going to be ending up paying them more for it anyways, potentially. So I don't know if that's going to work out too well. We'll have to see. Hi, Seb. Why is the Riot CEO talking as if $2.30 is the best interest of the... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the best interest for a Riot, right? To get a company that's growing tremendously in the next 6 to 12 months at a very, very low price, right? They could probably build out for much cheaper, but in order to get the expertise of going to other countries and things like that, you're going to pay a little bit of a premium for that. So it's more of an interest of Riot to get Bitfarms acquired, basically, than it is for Bitfarms themselves right now, the way I see it. What might this do to the share price in the short term? I don't know. I mean, it's obviously bullish that somebody's wanting to buy them out, but the price there is kind of low. We might start seeing maybe a bidding war. Maybe somebody else wants to go in there, right, just to mess with Riot and maybe bid up the price a little bit here on it. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Riot will own Bitfarms by July. Bet on it. I wouldn't bet on it. Well, it depends on shareholders, how they vote for it. Question, is this not good news either way since it shows Bitfarms is worth acquiring by the big boys, or big guys? This news gives us more presence with the market anyway. Presence. Yeah, I mean, in a way it's good news, obviously, that somebody wants to acquire them, but not at the price that they're offering, obviously. Yeah. Question, what are you planning to do with your shares? I'm holding 50,000 shares at $2.95 cost. I own 20,000 shares at $1, what is it, $1.60 something right now, I think. So I'm still holding on to that, and I still believe the company has a bright future ahead, especially with become going up in value over the next basically 6 to 12 months, if not longer. So I'm holding, right? I think that there's still a lot more upside. Let's see here. At least Riot actually made an attempt to do something that's more than I've been able to say in a long time. Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. Let's see. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm trying to find trying to keep profanity out. Oh, okay. Why did Mara or Cleanspark buy Bitfarms for the cheap price? Why did Mara or Cleanspark buy? Why didn't they, I guess? Cleanspark has their own way of doing things. Marathon is also pretty much set to get to 50x hash anyways. It doesn't really make much sense. Plus, they're going into Kenya, expanding in there potentially as well. So they got other things that they're working on as well. Let's see. Do you see Bitfarms lagging even more now? No, I think with the interest, it's obviously kind of put a floor on the price of Bitfarms potentially right around the $2 to $2.30, somewhere around there, right? We just need to see them. Well, we need Bitfarms to get a CEO in place as soon as possible. We need them to provide updates on, obviously, for May. Did they actually get to 10 exahash? June, can they get to 12 exahash? And then are they still on track to get to 21 exahash by the end of the year? How should Bitfarms board handle from here meeting later this week? They got to present it to the shareholders, right? This is what we have planned going forward. We think the offer was a lowball offer. We believe the stock is going to be valued much, much higher in the future with Bitcoin price going up. They need to provide this kind of narrative to basically calm investors and provide good forecast going forward, I think. Do you think we will miss the bull run with this FUD? No. This will go away. Either Riot buys us out, excuse me, or the shareholders reject it completely. So we'll have to see on that one. How will other miners react more on Cleanspark? Well, I mean, who else can you really buy out there, right? Bitfarms was probably one of the better operating ones out there and growing. You got basically, next one up would be possibly Hive, Hut 8. I mean, what are you really getting there? Other than managed services and some old miners as well. They do have infrastructure and things like that. But that would be, you'd have to probably pay a pretty big premium on them. So I don't know who else would be out there. Smaller miners, you got like what DMG, Digihost potentially in there as well. Let's see here. Are you selling? I'm not selling, no. How much Bitfarms is being shorted seems like a bad thing. I think some of the shorts are going to be probably covering right now with this news, but we'll see. If the buyout succeeds, will it just be stock exchange of Bitfarms shares for Riot shares at some multiple? It's going to be partially in cash and partially in like 17% of Riot shares, I think, is what they reported at that point. Let's see. Do you think the previous CEO got booted over this? Yeah, I kind of talked about this in the beginning here. I thought maybe this might be all tied together. Maybe the previous CEO wanted to sell the company to Riot. Maybe, I don't know. And the board was like, nope, and that's why they got rid of him. I don't know. We don't have the details on that. Let's see. What was the 9% stake average price? Not sure on that, but obviously they've been buying it before April, whenever they put the bid in. So it was probably in the 2s, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. Hi, Seb. Why has there been no statement on this from Bitfarms? Yeah, I think, well, I don't know. The board obviously rejected the offer, right? They thought it was basically the end of that. And then Riot came out with this. So I think maybe they're going to be formulating a formal statement for us to get maybe today, tomorrow. We'll see. But obviously they need to come out with a statement. See. Out of all the miners, which miners will be close or over 100 in Bitcoin peak? I think you might have Marathon, Cleanspark there, pretty close to that as well. Riot, depending on how they do going forward, and Corsicana, and then you might have maybe IREN. IREN might be one of those. That's one of those sleeper giants that might do very, very well as well. Let's see. Bitfarms needs to make a move before they go bankrupt. They're not going bankrupt. They got basically no debt anymore. They got an ATM that they're using to fund the growth to 21 exahash, so they're fine there. 230, how insulting. Yeah, I agree. Let's see, how long does this take to resolve? Not sure. It's going to take a couple months, I'm guessing. What happens if Riot just dumps all their shares out of spite? Well, they dump them, and then probably the stock is going to go down a little bit because of it. But if you own 9% of the company, and what if the stock price does go up to $10, right? That 9% is going to be looking pretty good on your balance sheet if you have that. So they can make money off of it that way too. Maybe Riot is using the run-up in share price on Bitfarms to generate some cash. That could be. You never know, right? Remember, Jason is a professional poker player, right? He's a gambler. So he might be looking at a couple different ways of playing this. Let's see. Hi, Seb. I'm not sure if you covered this already, but how do you feel about Mt. Gox moving all their coins? I know they have a repay by sometime October, so they don't have to liquidate until then. I don't know, but obviously that's going to go out to, I believe, the creditors or the owners of the coins there eventually. We'll see if those people dump or not, or if they hold on to the coins. We'll have to see how that plays out. Especially when you be a buyer at this price for Bitfarms. I mean, right now it's kind of lagging right now because the stock price is set at $2.30 basically for the buyout, right? So it's gonna. I wonder if it puts in a ceiling, temporary ceiling on the stock price until this gets worked out. Because who's going to pay more than $2.30 if the buyout's going to be at $2.30? That's one thing we have to take into consideration as well. Especially thoughts on the struggles with the Wyoming acquisition. Yeah, I'd like to get more information from them as far as what the heck are they doing. I'm sure they're probably working with the attorneys and the government side of things, trying to get that site figured out, the one that they're buying from the Chinese owner there. But hopefully that gets worked out soon. We'll have to see. I don't have any other updates on that. Let's see. Hedge funds could have interest to drive action here, potentially. If Riot buys Bitfarms, how would it affect Bitfarms holders? Well, I believe you get $2.30 for it, and the company gets, 17% of Riot shares. So we're basically at $2.30. That's basically what we would get, I guess. And then those would get possibly maybe you would have to sell those or convert it over to Riot shares, maybe. Not sure. But why would the previous CEO want to sell and then also sue? That's just snaky, and very unlikely. Well, he wanted maybe to sell a company, right? And the board wasn't for it. And they had basically a disagreement there, right? He was for selling the company. They weren't for it. I don't know. I'm just speculating here that maybe because it's all timed relatively close here. I don't know if that was the case or not. But maybe he's just suing them because he thought he was doing the best thing in the interest of the shareholders, where they thought they're doing the best thing in the interest of shareholders. I don't know. Let's see. Roughly how many Cleanspark shares do you own? I'm trying to get to 2,500. I own 10,100 shares of Cleanspark right now. Let's see. Do you not speculate any mismanagement on Bitfarms? Do you not see any truth to any of this? I mean, there's some truth. Obviously, there's always some truth in things like this, right? But I don't have the insight to this. Nobody has the insight to it except for like insiders and maybe a couple other people besides that. But it's hard. So we can only go by what we see on the outside, what's being reported, unfortunately. It would be nice to actually have Bitfarms come out and say, here's what's going on, here's what happened, right? We got a lawsuit, here's the details on the lawsuit, what's happening there. So we as shareholders can then have a better understanding of what's going on. Let's see. Question, what's your opinion? Do Riot will counter offer Bitfarms, and is it a good thing to agree with it? If at all, what would be the fair offer per share? Thank you. Like I said, I think like anything under $7 is a low ball offer for Bitfarms, especially with their growth going forward. I wouldn't accept anything under $7. That's just, I think, would be a pretty good deal. Wouldn't be a great deal, but I think it would be an okay deal. But yeah, I wouldn't, like I said, I would vote for no on anything under $7. Let's see. What are the chances Bitfarms rejects the offer and continue by themselves? They've already rejected the offer, right? So they already said no. Now, basically, Riot's taking it to the board and to the shareholders to see if they can make change that way. We'll see how the shareholders vote. Let's see. Would you hold Riot shares if they bid $7? I don't own any Riot shares right now, but if they bid $7, they're definitely going to be overpaying for it, right? At that point, based on where it is right now. And they could grow on their own. But the only thing that they're getting would be a benefit to them is the outside exposure into Argentina, Paraguay, Canada as well, things like that. So you're going to be paying a little bit premium on that. Let's see. Okay, guys, I got maybe 2 more minutes. I got to get going. Ben should be the CEO or Bitfarms. I agree. I'm all for it. Do you think Marathon and Cleanspark will push each other on the bull run just like Marathon and Riot did in the last bull run? Yeah, we're seeing it already happening, right? Both have purchases of miners to get to 50 exahash basically each. Would you buy right now or 3 months later? 3 months later, stock might be up higher. So dollar cost averaging if you can, not financial advice. Is Bitfarms on track for 17 exahash hash rate for Q3? I think so. They're planning to get to 21 by the end of the year, so that kind of makes sense. Let's see. I'm trying to find other good questions here. Does this mean that no new CEO for Bitfarms? How does this play out for CEO? No, they're still going to be searching, right? The board rejected the offer by Riot. So unless Riot goes full hostile on them, trying to take over that way, Bitfarms going to be basically operating the way they normally do. They're going to be looking for a CEO. They're going to be obviously trying to build out as best as they can, meet their targets and everything else. So that all stays the same. Sebastian, I would like to just say thank you for all you do, and we all appreciate you guys also coming in here. So it goes both ways. So thank you. Bitfarms has potential. Riot sees them as a treat. Yeah, I mean, Bitfarms has definitely good potential here going into this year, growing 3x in hash rate. That's huge growth for them. Is it only Bitfarm holders that get a say in this? I believe so. And then obviously Riot owns 19%, so I don't know what that entails as far as their voting share rights of it. So Riot would have a say in it, and obviously we would have a share in it as well. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is a good question. I wonder if Bitfarms will poison pill if Riot pushes too hard. Yeah, that's something that I was looking into too as well. How could they use the poison pill potentially as well? Okay, guys, I got to get going. I got to get back to work here in a little bit. So I hope you guys found this useful. Obviously, we'll have to see how this plays out. This is interesting, but like I said, $2.30 is way too low for Bitfarms to take any kind of serious offer from that. Like I said, growth plans are huge for this year. That alone is worth a heck of a lot more in the future, and that's why they shouldn't settle anything less than, like I said, maybe $7 or higher at this point, right? Depending on when it happens. But right now, within the next month to 2 months, I'd say $7 or less. Not worth it. But that's it. All right, guys, thanks so much for coming in. I hope you guys have a great night, or a great day, actually. We'll take a look at what happens later on this afternoon also. Maybe we'll get some more insight from this as well. We'll dive a little bit maybe deeper into it tonight as well, once I have more time to digest everything and everybody's commenting. We got Mike, Alfred commenting. We got Jason. We got other people commenting and everything else. So I'll just try and maybe scrape it all together, and we'll digest it again a little bit at night better. Okay, that's it. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tonight. All right, bye.